Hello everyone. Well, we're going to have some changes on my channel. If you look at my channel description, it says I talk about politics, governance, love, marriage, financial literacy, and anything in between. But unfortunately, 99.9999% of my conversation on my channel has been politics and governance. And I'm putting a stop for that. 3 days I'm going to take out of the 7 days in a week, and I'm going to talk about different things. I'm going to talk about love on Fridays, parenting on Saturdays, and of course money on Sundays. So financial literacy will continue on Sundays. That's what it is about. And I will just keep governance and politics from Monday to Thursday, and that will be it. So today will be the beginning of the series of this whole issue about love, marriage, relationship, whatever it is that you want to call it. I'm not an expert, so a disclaimer please. I'm not an expert and I don't claim to be. But I've been in love, and I've known love, and I've been loved, and I've been in a relationship. And it's been 26 years since I got married, and I've had an amazing, and I'm still having an amazing, beautiful marriage, a closeness. And I want to just share a few of the things that I've learned over the years. Some of the things that I learned even before I got married, some of the things that I learned while I'm still married, while I'm married, I'm still married, obviously, of course, and then things I've learned from my own marriage and from other people's marriage, and the things I've learned from just reading about other people, and also relationship and all of that. And so in this whole, my process of sharing is to say, probably there's someone out there that can learn from my story and what I've gone through, or what I've done, or what I've been, or the kind of relationship I've had, just the way I also learned from other people, what they've gone through, what their relationship is like, and all of that. So today, so that's just me explaining what are things that we're going to start saying. Today I'm going to talk about 3 words. I love you. I love you. Yesterday, I traveled with a friend of mine. We went to Lagos to do a recording of A Place at the Table, which comes up every Saturday on News Central. And on the phone, she kept hearing myself and my husband having conversation, because literally on a normal day, myself and my husband would talk to each other like maybe 10, 15, 20 times a day. It could literally be, hello, okay, this needs to be happening. It's always, and then we always end our conversation with, I love you. And she was like, oh, Aisha, oh, you people, you are giving your attention in, single people and all of that. And I laughed, and I shared with her how the whole story of I love you, for me, how it started. And I'm going to share that with you. And I think this is the first time that I'm really publicly sharing this particular aspect of my life. I was around 8, 9 years old. I don't think I was 10, or maybe between 8 and 10. Now I'm not very sure. When I heard the words I love you in relation to me, nobody had ever said they love me before then. I read a lot, and I read that in books, or maybe probably, I don't know whether I saw that in movie, but I knew what those words, I love you. And how did it happen? I went out, my father then was a businessman, and that was before, of course. So why I know I probably wasn't up to 10 years, that was before we lost everything. It was after during Buhari's era, first in 1980 something. That was when my father lost all his business. I was 10. So, and I know that Buhari took over 31st of December 1983. I turned 10 12th of December 1983. So definitely now I can tell you I wasn't up to 10 when this whole incident happened. And so my father was a business person. I would go around with things, sold the things he needed to sell and stuff like that. So I had come home in his car. There were some eggs. I think it was eggs. I'm just seeing the picture of that whole thing right now. And I was trying to take things from the car, from the boot of the car into the house. And then this guy says, Oh, how did he put it? I'm trying to remember the exact words right now. And he said something like, Aisha is my girlfriend. I love her. So I'm trying to remember whether it was I love her that came first. Yeah, Aisha. So like he was having a conversation with some other whatever random person they were sitting, and my life stopped. Oh my goodness, somebody loves me. It was like, wow. That was it. So at less than 10 years old, I was in a relationship that nobody even asked me about anything about being in a relationship. So that was it. I was like, oh my goodness. How old was I? Less than 10. And this person, if I can remember, as I'm just seeing his face now, I think he probably would be in his 20s, maybe early 20s or late or early 20s. That was like an adult or something. And this is a child. And because nobody had ever said they love me. And so me hearing him, I thought, okay, that was it. He said I'm his girlfriend, he loves me. That was it. For me, and I'd say thank God for today, the saving grace that I had was the fact that as of that period, that time, and we lived in Open Nasarawa in Kano. And it was a place where, at a time where, I mean, younger girls, they got married early, so they had relationship and stuff like that. But there was this shyness. Okay, when they say Saura Yinka, that means your boyfriend. But you don't stand with the person. You run away when you see the person. You're shy, you know, those kind of things. And so I knew for me, so maybe if not, there might have a physical, only God knows what that could have led to. So thank God for that. I would say him, you know, but I would give him eggs. I can't remember whether I probably was giving him money. So probably I was taking things from my parents. Oh, Lord have mercy. You know, these are things that when you see these things, you're like, wow. And so I would take eggs and I would give it to him. I would carry things and, you know, gift, like, oh, through someone. There was always a medium. There was a young girl. I don't even know what was her relationship with him. She was my friend. I don't know that she was, I don't even know. So, and then he would write love notes, love letters to me. Actually, he was writing love letters, and I'll read and I'll keep them in my bag, my school bag. They were in my school bag. He would hand over to them. I don't even know whether I was replying. I can't remember the aspect. Then one day, my mother found those love notes. Lord have mercy. I received the beating of my life that day. That I'm still alive now. God said that, you know, I had more days to spend on earth, but I received the beating of my life, and that resets. You know, that kind of beating that an African mother will give you of those days, it will reset your factory. You come back to factory setting. It got me back to factory setting. So, as I grew up, as I grew up from there, you know, became a teenager. As a teenager, I was a very retrospective child, someone who thought a lot, thought about life, worked at life, arranged myself. Sometimes when I see people say, oh, what will you tell your younger self? I'm like, my younger self saved me. My younger self has more sense than me now. I'm the one playing now. My younger self was a very serious, goal-oriented, planning, had the world on her shoulder, wanted to achieve so many things, did a lot. So so as of that moment, as a teenager and going on, I've made up my mind that nobody was ever going to use "I love you" to take away my children. Nobody was going to be the first to tell my children they love them. Nobody was going to be the first to make them feel that was it. Because nobody had ever said "I love you" to me before that person. And it wasn't even said, he didn't even say "I love you" to me. He said "I love her." And that was it. And of course, in the writings and all of that. So I made up my mind. So when myself and my husband, we started courting, and of course, I'll talk about our relationship as we go on, just to share, because we started, I think was it the first few weeks when he came to me, he went to meet my parents, let them know that he would start coming, and so that was why he would. So the courtship you know, actually started. And when we started planning marriage and all of that, I started using the words "I love you." It was difficult at first, you know. Of course, my husband is a typical African Nigerian child, brought up in an African Nigerian setting. Nobody said "I love you" to you. Our parents didn't know. They didn't tell us they loved us, but they showed they loved us, but they didn't tell us they loved us. So it was that difficult, and I'm like, I'm gonna say it. You're gonna say it to me. We'll have conversation on the phone during the night till this call phone. I'm calling, I'm like, I love you. You have to say it back. Yes, when he's alone, maybe sometimes in the office. Initially, my husband used to be like shy in the office. He wouldn't say it. There are people around. Now we are like, I love you. I'm like, good. But even sometimes now you still see him, the way he says, I know, okay, he's in the, but the way he now like, sweetie, you know, those kind of things. It took a long time. So sometimes, because sometimes people feel, oh, how do I make my husband romantic? Or how do I make my wife romantic? Just keep doing it. Just keep saying it. I need you to say it back. And I remember there's one incident. Let me digress a little bit. I think our son was around maybe like 3-4 years. One day we had one day I just saw he just came to me. I was like, Mommy, you don't love Daddy anymore. I'm like, why? I said, no. He said, but you just finished talking on the phone and he didn't say I love you. And so that was because kids learn. You understand? It's not what we teach it's not what we say to our children. It's our examples that they see. You have to exemplify what you want your child to see, what you want your child to learn, what you want them to do. But anyway, parenting will be on Saturdays, and so tomorrow we'll talk about that. But you see, on this whole issue of I love you, that was how we started, and then we kept on it, and it's become part of our lives, our children. I mean, literally, if you're leaving the house, if I'm leaving the house, I'm telling my husband, oh, I love my husband. I pray for him when he's leaving the house. When I'm leaving the house, yeah, he prays for me. He's the one. I've never worked in my life. I've always done business. I've worked for myself. Okay, people have said I shouldn't say I've never worked. I've never worked for someone, so I have not had this thing of I have to go to office or whatever. So I do my own business. I work from home. Even if it's shop, I go later. So my husband is always the first that lives there. He has always been a career person. That was why we made that decision for me not to work, and so that two of us are not in the same kind of line of work. And so when he's going out, I'll pray for him. And then, like, for example, yesterday I went out very early and then he prayed for me. And so stuff like that, we exchange that I love you, say it to our children, tell our children all the time. And it's become part of our normal routine. I mean, my husband tells our son he loves him. Our son tells my husband, I love you. My daughter tells my husband she loves him. He tells her I love. So we all exchange love. Sometimes you hear me on the phone. I'm with my daughter. I'm like, love you. I like love you more. No, I love you. I love you. Love you. You like okay. You love. You know that kind. So it's be part of us. So we share it. Even like when the kids do something, you scold them. You sit there. Okay, you know I love you. You know this one you were naughty. You know all the. So that love is very important, and I think it's something that we can all work on it. You can learn something from this, my story. I don't know. I know I've rambled on, but I don't know. But there might be something out there that you will learn about this, my story. But just to say to you, love is real. Love is something that has to be nurtured, has to be shared. Love is something that, you know, it's a beautiful thing when you have a relationship. You have someone that you can share things with, someone that, you know, that has got your back. And so it's such a beautiful thing. And please, as much as possible, tell the people that you love them. Like my friends and this thing, I always tell you, I love you. I don't want to keep it later and now be saying, no, I will tell you, you know, it's something, I mean it, I love you. Your family, your friends, your loved ones, always share with them, tell them how much you love. It means a lot. Please do not allow someone else to be the one to tell your child that they love them. That might be a way. For me, it could have been tragic. Only God knows what could have happened. Luckily, my mom found those letters on time to put a stop to it. Luckily, there was no even standing. There was a shyness that was like, oh, you couldn't start with this person, but you were supposedly your boyfriend and stuff like that. But hey, love is a beautiful thing. Let's keep nurturing it. Let's keep it going. And like I said, Fridays are for love, and we'll continue the conversation on love. There are more things to come. Stay tuned on this channel. Thank you and bye.